girls that I'd termed the DZ, the drama zone. And, of course, I couldn't leave out Tristan, who I was officially now calling my boyfriend. Trail riding with Dean had helped me feel like life was getting back to normal. So did seeing my oldest friends, Kate and Mia, who still go to my former high school. We'd spent what seemed like half my vacation hanging out at our former trainer Gail's place and being our typical goofball selves. We'd stayed up until all hours talking horses and guys and gossiping about my old schoolmates. It all felt charmingly boring and normal compared to being around the glossy queen bees at Fairmont. When I was there, I'd missed boring and normal in some ways. However, the drama at Fairmont was worth dealing with, considering all the opportunities that came with going to such a prestigious school. Besides playing catch-up, Mia, Kate, and I pigged out on pizza, chips, and pretty much any food item that could be qualified as junk while listening to Carrie Underwood, Miranda Lambert, and Taylor Swift. And then there was Austin. Given the kiss we'd shared at the end of the summer, right before he'd left for UC Davis and I left for Fairmont, the thought of seeing him over the holidays had made me just a little nervous. Austin Giles and I had been friends for almost 8 years, and that kiss had changed everything. Because before we'd locked lips, I'd had no clue that Austin had any interest in me, or even that I might have feelings for him. Feelings I'd pushed aside when I'd gotten to Fairmont. No point in pining away for a guy leaving for college. At least, that's what I'd tried hard to make myself believe during my first months at school. It got easier after I met Tristan and fell so hard for him, though, especially when it finally became clear that he had fallen for me. With his short, golden blonde hair, light green eyes, and amazing talent for riding, it was almost hard to believe he was real. But he was, and I found him impossible to resist. I think it must have been sometime around the first time Tristan and I kissed that Austin got shoved far back into the recesses of my mind. Until this last Christmas break. Because the memory of that kiss Austin and I had shared the September before came rushing back the first time I saw him walk into Gail's barn. Even from yards away, the sight of his tall, muscular body made my stomach lurch. A few months of college looked good on him. Let's just say he'd obviously been working out. I had always noticed his dimples, but not so much the chiseled definition of his face. This time, I noticed. My buddy, Austin Giles, was no longer the boy I remembered growing up with. He'd kind of graduated into that man territory in a way that seemed impossible to ignore. "Hey, V," he said, lifting me off my feet and twirling me around. He set me down. He put on a terrible English accent, running a hand through his dark brown hair that held just the right amount of wave and fell kind of sexily into his intense blue eyes. "How's the Fairmont Academy treating you?" I couldn't help but laugh. "Well, first off, it's not in the UK, so the English accent isn't working." "Huh, it's not? Seems to work on the sorority girls on campus, at least." He smiled widely and winked at me. I punched him lightly in the shoulder. "Those poor, innocent girls. You never change." Austin's ability to charm girls with jokes and accents has been a running joke between us for years. Now that he was charming me, too, I didn't quite know how to act. Clutching his shoulder dramatically, like I'd somehow managed to injure his rock-hard muscle, he smiled. "Easy there, slugger. You might knock me over with that right hook." "You should see the left jab." He smiled in a way that made me feel we were back to our normal routines, almost like the kiss that I remembered so well had never happened. And after that, as Christmas break continued on, our occasional meetings at the barn seemed totally normal. But my sense of relief only lasted until Gail's Christmas party, when I found myself alone with Austin in the barn. He plopped down next to me in the tack room on